Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Pisces. If Pisces is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so this is a bonus reading for Pisces, and our card tonight is the Star card. And this is from Tarot of the Abyss. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so immediately I'm seeing we have a dog right here. You can see the ear and the eyes, the mouth and the nose, and here's the body kind of interlocked with this other dog. I think kind of in a playful, maybe kind of, I don't know, competitive or getting into, we were being playful and then suddenly it turned kind of vicious. It makes me think of like roughhousing with your siblings, when you're young and somebody goes a little too far and then it turns into a brawl, right? So I feel like there's a sense of kind of a fun banter, maybe kind of a cute back and forth. But I think, there's also this underlying sense of competitiveness. And so, this kind of makes sense with the Star card. I feel like there is the energy of trying to, live your dream. Trying to get your life going in the direction that you envision. And maybe it has, maybe you're already really into those life goals. But I think that this is something that is central to the meaning of your journey. You are somebody who really likes to, well, don't we all, I guess. But yeah, meet your goals, right? And when you do it, it builds your confidence. And I think you're somebody who continues to have more and more goals. You're not just going to kind of sit on your laurels and wait. You're not going to, get to that point and then just, become kind of stagnant. I think you are somebody that continues on. Part of that is because you do have this relationship, and I do wonder if this is actually a sibling. Maybe it's a good friend, something, but there is a sense of a little bit of trying to keep up with one another, maybe a little bit of like one-upping each other. But it's been over the span of a long time, right? Probably decades. And this is kind of part of the driving force, somebody to kind of compete with, but somebody you also love dearly. You want to see them succeed as well, but maybe just not as much as you. Maybe you want to do just a little better. And that's okay. That's all right. Now we have a 3 and a 0. So we have 30. And let's turn you know what? Actually, I want to look at this one up here. We have a horse up here, and it looks like it's been on a trail. Now, this is in that metaphysical zone, spiritual zone, right up on the rim there. So I do feel like there is a sense of long journeys here, okay? Oh, geez. I forgot to turn off the water thing. There we go. Long journeys. So you have been through some ordeals, okay? Big life events. Some tower moments, probably. These can be things like, bereavement of some kind, of divorce, of financial woes, health issues, whatever it is. And you have been through some of these things, and it has not always been easy. You've had some of those dark nights of the soul, right? And these are periods of our life where, sometimes the meaning of things kind of becomes unraveled. We are kind of adrift at sea. We're in a very blue state. Not political. Not political. I mean, feeling blue, melancholy, depressive, okay? When things are rough, okay? And you maybe don't know, how am I going to fix this thing? I don't know exactly. I'm just going to keep trying to walk through this desert. I think of the Dark Night of the Soul. You often see the imagery of like being out in the ocean at night, right? And I also think of these kind of desert, arid places. The horse slowly walking through the night. It is cold, and if you stop, if you stop moving, you might freeze. So you keep moving, you keep walking and walking. It seems endless. I also like the imagery of like also kind of desert, but more of a lunar landscape, because it does. Dark Night of the Soul definitely has that watery, emotional component. And then we have the lunar landscape, which the moon is very related to the water, obviously. But it is a kind of very empty landscape, very alien feeling, very I don't know what it would feel like, but it seems like it'd be quite quiet and lonely, probably kind of lonely. And so, I feel like this is not where you're at the moment. Okay, but I do feel like you have been through these periods of time, and it's something that you would like to avoid, I imagine. It's something that you don't want to go back into. So I do think that you kind of implement techniques and routines and mindfulness and distractions, and maybe you have tried things like therapy and counseling and so on. Become very active in figuring out, how do I manage these feelings when these things start to arise in me, when I start to wake up and the world feels less, less tolerable, or, the color kind of drains out of everything. I don't feel like doing anything. I'm not looking forward to things. What do? You start, you look at your list of, okay, so now I need to, making sure I'm getting good sleep. I'm doing some intentional movement to my level of ability. Am I eating well? Whatever that means to you. Whatever, do I need to go to somewhere beautiful? Hopefully we all have found places in our life where we can go and be, we can walk through, we can sit and look at the water or, the trees or whatever. And it feels like a home, or, maybe even like a cathedral or a temple, or, a sacred space where we can commune with spirit, and, we can center ourselves, come back into that place of feeling, very much in ourselves. And so I think that you have really begun to figure this out for yourself. And now it's not always the same, and the factors change, the circumstances change. But I think that you have prioritized this, and I see there's a heart right there on this path. And I feel that there's a wholeness to your heart, to your experience of your life. I feel, you have come to you still hurt and there's pain and there are moments of suffering for sure. But I think that you know that, this will not be the last, you will go on, you will endure. And there's still beauty in the world and you are going to find it. There's hope in that. And that's a beautiful thing. That's not something that most people, I would say, can find, is to be in that place where, you know that there will be times that are difficult, but you will figure it out. It's going to be all right. I know that the universe will provide for me. I know, that these long nights will end, that the sun will rise once more. And so I think that's what really gets you through. Not only that, it's what helps you thrive, because I think that you're confident in your abilities. You're confident in the matters of the world, and the ebb and flow of things. Okay. And that's a very wise ability, to be able to shift and adapt with what's going on. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Now we have it. I keep looking at this. We have, it looks like a T and then we have an S. Okay. We also have, it looks like a person holding a backwards R. So maybe an R name. And did we have an R in this reading, or is that the last one? I can't remember. So R seems important. It do. Okay, so we have an owl. Okay, you can see the eyes, the beak. Here's the top of the head. Here is the wing and the body. And it is kind of staring at us. Look at that thing. It's like one of those little cute owls. But looks also kind of ornery. So we have the Watcher. The Watcher is here. And this is obviously, with the owl, we have the sign of wisdom. But also owls, are very interrelated with this idea of, like aliens, UFOs, encounters with these things, but also intelligences, like extra dimensional things, macrobes, and different entities that kind of coexist with us. And so I wonder if you have not been having a feeling around the home of something being there with you, kind of lurking, in the tree line or just outside the window. It feels like there's kind of an eerie feeling at times when the night gets very quiet, and there's not necessarily any sound, no sound of an owl or anything, but there just is the feeling of that thing watching. What is it, and why is it focused on you? And what is, what does it want? What does it want? I think often, though, these are just observers, and there are transient spirits all over the place. And these are kind of ones that just rove around. They don't necessarily attach themselves to anything. But this also could be that it is some kind of spirit guide for you as well. And that it is watching. It's watching over you, but it's also watching kind of what you're doing, right? How you're living your life. What are you, what's going on? What are you spending your hours doing? No, I'm kidding. But yes, I do think that there is a sense of being, just kind of looked at, you just feel, if you've ever been out in the woods, right? And you hear animals and you hear the bugs and the birds and things. And you know that you're among many living creatures and plants and minerals and everything else. But then there will be a feeling where, yeah, it feels like something is watching you. And it is, a survival instinct, something that we just have, we know. Or even if you're like in a crowded room and you feel like, okay, there's a lot of people here talking, interacting, making noise, moving around, but it feels like somebody is looking at you, and you turn and there's somebody like across the room staring at you. It's just, there's an ability that we all have this. Some of us just really try to tune it out. But I feel like this is kind of that feeling, but I do think it's in the home for some reason. It feels like something around the house. And I don't think that, again, I don't think that this is anything like I don't think it's a ghost or anything that's trying to super interact with you. I think it's just kind of watching, Now we have this interesting, it looks like a W or a E. And then over here we have, it looks like a W or a backwards E. And it's very symmetrical. Okay. So this is really a feeling of there is balance. There's a lot of balance in your life right now. And it almost can feel maybe like you worry about it changing. You almost don't trust it. Like things are kind of going so well that you don't trust it. What's going to happen? The better it gets, the worse it is going to feel when things get messed up. But here's the thing. I don't think that anything wrong is going to be happening. I think that you have really grown as a being and have become so adaptable. You are good at navigating issues in your life, things that come up, instead of absolutely losing it and going into yourself and not being able to, do anything, just becoming absolutely frozen by the stressors of your life. I think that you have really grown into this place where you feel confident in being able to kind of take care of things. And even if it's something that's like, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do here. This is like a lot, I have not even the beginning of an idea. I think that you employ, whatever skills that you have learned to kind of problem solve and figure it out, to the best of your ability. And this is where I think you found a lot of balance. It's not about like how much money you're making or, how nice your things are, or are all the bills paid or not. It's about how you're reacting to things. How are you letting life affect you? And, where you're at, I feel like you're really thriving. And I think that ability to manage the stress and problem solve and stay motivated and get things done, I think that's why you have been having success, especially monetary. I think that you are probably in this next year going to be making more money than you have in a long time, or if ever. Okay. And so, and I think this has a lot to do with the fact that, you're figuring out how to do what you have to do. Right. Okay. And I just want to look at this one too. We have a swan. And for the swan, I feel like it is a sense of being quite graceful in your execution, but also very loyal to your group of people or your person in your life that you are connected with. your family, your maybe a spouse or a partner of some kind, a good friend. I can see that you are somebody who maybe doesn't connect with a lot of people, but the ones that you do connect with, you stay loyal to them forever. And I think that this is one of your strong, character attributes. And something that I think people really, really love about you is that you always show up for the people that you really do love and care for. Okay, so we have another E. So the E keeps repeating. So that seems important for sure. Interesting. So it looks like a valley, and then we have the crescent moon. So it does look like a lunar valley. And I almost wonder if this is something that you kind of relate to. Did you grow up listening to Dark Side of the Moon as well? I had a poster above my bed. But yes, I do. I feel like there is this real lunar quality about your life, which is interesting. I have such a love for, those kind of blessed and afflicted with those lunar qualities. Same with Saturn as well. But I think that you are somebody who really comes alive in the night. I feel like you are somebody who is very dreamy, very into like kind of fantasy and creating these scenarios and innovative and maybe even kind of a world builder. And sometimes could be close to illusion and delusion at times, but I think more than that, it is that you are somebody who's maybe a writer, a poet. I could almost imagine maybe like making like video games or something, creating worlds, landscapes, and creative places to dwell. And so I think this is a great strength for you, where I think at times in your life you had thought, like, I feel strange compared to other people. I don't know why, I'm more comfortable in some of the more maybe difficult topics of life, death, and maybe like mental health things, or I don't know. There are a lot of things that would be attributed to like maybe the shadow. But I think you're comfortable talking about them. I think you're fairly comfortable living close to them in some ways. I think that when people get to know you and they speak to you, they say things like, you're very open, you make it easy to talk about things that I don't feel like I can talk to most people about. You just have this very inviting and kind of magical, maybe a little eccentric energy, but also very kind of down to earth and approachable. And so I think to know somebody like you is a rarity and a privilege for people, because, there aren't a lot of people out there like you, unless you go on Tumblr, then it seems like that's where it's at. Maybe you're a big Tumblr person. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful, alignment here. One that I kind of wish was for me, although I don't have any profound Pisces in my chart really. But one of my favorite signs nonetheless. Okay, let's take a look. We're going to look at the Dreamer's deck, 40 affirmations for pursuing your dreams. And I'm just going to flip through here and stop where it feels right. We'll go ahead and read this together. It says, I know that each breath confirms that I am alive and far from finished. I am just getting started. Very good. I read the other day, which I had not realized, is that Tolkien didn't start writing, or maybe he got published, I don't know, when he was like 45. I mean, one of the ultimate examples of a world creator. It's so amazing. And it does. It gives you a little hope, doesn't it? 45 seems pretty young now, though, too. But yeah, you know, it's never too late to start. I've always kind of been one of those people. I'm like, even in school, I was like in junior high and I didn't do band in elementary school. So I was like, well, I can't learn now because I'm too old. Well, of course I could have. I could now learn to pick up an instrument. You know, but it's like, I don't know what it is about our lives that we do that to ourselves. No, I'm too old. I've already surpassed my ability to try doing something. And, yeah, and it's a lie. It's a mind trap. Don't believe the hype. All right. Pisces, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to do these readings for you, especially the bonus readings, because I feel like I get to be a little more loosey with them, a little loosey-goosey on them. And so anyways, if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you have not, and if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in just a few days. Thank you. Good night.